We welcome you into the DME Sports Academy here in Daytona Beach for tonight's matchup between the hosting DME squad and the Oak Ridge Pioneers. Luke Morrow alongside Dan Mondragon here in Daytona for an important matchup tonight there at the high school level on the women's side of things, where Oak Ridge comes in from Orlando with a 9-6 record, DME 8-4 on the year. And Dan, we saw DME dismantle their most recent opponent over the weekend, a 79-26 victory against the Rock, their largest win of the year, scoring the most points in a game all year, and now trying to turn around quickly and have a similar outcome tonight against Oak Ridge.
Definitely a great momentum game for DME girls. I know Coach Panagio spoke about this being a big game on his schedule, just from the weight that the name of Oak Ridge holds in the Central Florida area. So he's really looking forward to a great competitive game here tonight.
Oak Ridge coming in, as mentioned, 9-6 on the year. That includes 4-0 in their conference. Most recently a loss 2 nights ago, Tuesday, by a final score of 79-64 against Timber Creek. So this is their third loss in their last 4 games for Oak Ridge under second-year head coach LaTorri Williams, who's trying to get the Pioneers to their first winning season since at least 2006. It's been a long time. Last year, 9-18 for the Pioneers, and this year already 9 wins in just 15 games at 9-6. But this is a stretch, Dan, of playing 7 games in an 11-day stretch. And after tonight, they have a game tomorrow. They have a game the following night. So for the Pioneers here, 3 games in 3 nights. That's a tougher schedule in the NBA, and that's what the Pioneers are in the middle of.
Yeah, definitely not an easy thing to do, both physically and I think mentally as well. When you've got young kids who, have all the pressures of school, academics, social life, for them to be on the road back home, playing games every single night, and then having to wake up, go to school, it's not an easy thing. It'll definitely test your team's toughness, mentally, physically. But as a coach, you look forward to some of those stretches to see how your team reacts, to see where their toughness levels are at.
Tomorrow they'll be playing against Cypress Bay over in Weston, and then on Saturday they'll be in Hallandale, Florida for their 3rd game in what will be 3 straight days. It starts tonight here in Daytona against DME, which enters at 8-4, including 3-0 in their conference, and 3-0 here at home. So not a whole lot of action for DME on their home floor, but home for the 2nd time this week and trying to stay undefeated after, as mentioned, that huge win Saturday against the Rock, 79-26, scoring a season-high points and their largest margin of victory by 53 for their 8th win of the year. What did you like most from that win we saw the other day?
I just like the way they came out. They had a new player to the team that fit in very nicely and actually had a great game on her debut with DME. But I love how they just came out right out of the gate and just put it on the rock and never looked back. It was a great game for them in the SIAA as they look to put their stamp in the league in their first year.
So just about ready for basketball. DME in the home whites. Oak Ridge in the visiting greens out of Orlando, about an hour drive from here, and we're ready to go this evening in Daytona. Thanks for coming along with us on the live stream. Tip up and 1 by Oak Ridge, and we're off and rolling between DME and the Pioneers with a deflection out of bounds that immediately halts. The Pioneers will have to inbound 5 seconds in. Oak Ridge led by Anijah Grant, 6'2", junior, wears number 15. She averages 16 points a game as Lubin turns it over, and fouled was Mary McMillan after getting the steal.
Great defensive pressure by McMillan to force that turnover for DME.
McMillan had a season-high 11 assists in that win Saturday. She gets the steal on the opening defensive possession for DME, now runs the point for their first try on the offensive end.
Oak Ridge showing a little zone here to start the game. Looks like a 3-2 with their 2 bigs inside.
The corner 3 is good.
That's a good sign there, Luke, for Lexi to get her outside shooting going early. That's a great sign for her. She's capable of putting up great numbers in a hurry with her athleticism and good shooting touch.
Duckett averages 13 points a game to lead the team. Gets the first points tonight with that corner 3. And DME on the board to begin. Here is Grant driving to the hoop and getting blocked from behind by Moore, her 22nd rejection of the year. Now up ahead to Cantone, who has to adjust in midair, couldn't finish.
Yeah, she tried to avoid the contact there. She was a little bit afraid of it instead of just going straight up. The worst thing that can happen, you get your shot blocked. The best thing that can happen, you get a foul and you score the basket. She's just got to go straight up with that one.
So 3-0 DME leads. Lawson losing the dribble. It's picked up by Duckett. She averages nearly 3 steals a game. There's Cantone dishing off this time to Moore for the lay-in.
Another turnover forced by DME just on man-to-man ball pressure.
Early 5-0 lead. Trying to change that was Jackson, but she airballed the 3. Now McMillan off to the races, weaving in and out of traffic. The kick out and the 3 to give DME the first 8 points of the game as Tyler Happer knocks it down.
And that's what Tyler does. You do not want to let her catch and shoot on the perimeter. She is so good on the outside at catching and getting it out of her hands so quickly. Hard shot to block. And DME in a good rhythm here in the first couple minutes of the game.
Forces a quick timeout. Not even 2 minutes in. DME with the first 8 points of this one against the Oak Ridge Pioneers, who come in at 9-6. They're certainly no slouch, but DME quick out of the gates on their home floor. And for Happer, the latest bucket there for DME to prompt the timeout from head coach LaTorri Williams. Happer didn't play in that Saturday win that we talked about, so big for DME. With the 50-plus point margin, didn't even have Tyler, and now back here, hits the 3. Last time we saw her on the floor for DME, she had 3 threes in a game. So for Coach Benaggio, I'm sure it's nice to have her back tonight.
Absolutely. One of his most experienced player, a senior. She's 18. She's been around. She's played the game for many, many years at a high level. Was actually caught in a snowstorm and wasn't able to make it back. But he is definitely glad to have her back on the floor because she can stretch the floor for them. But she's a gifted scorer, and she's got great strength. So look for her to get going.
McMillan with the near steal out of the timeout. DME with the 8-0 lead, just 2 minutes gone by. Oak Ridge trying to get on the board. There's a 3 from the top of the key that rims in and out. And rebounded by Duckett. Up
That's
ahead
a nice
to Cantone.
pass by Lexi Duckett there.
Cantone couldn't finish the scoop shot. Pushing up the floor is Lawson for Oak Ridge. Now Duckett comes to pressure. Lawson getting into the lane towards the hoop. She got hugged and fouled by Moore. That's the first foul on DME tonight.
They're going to keep pressuring, and now a little bit, not a lot of depth for DME, but certainly more than they're used to in the last couple games. Started the season with 6 players and then added Marissa, making it 7. And now this is the first time they've had a 7-man roster. So I know Coach Benaggio wants to pressure the basketball, and he wants to get out and run in transition. So he's got a little bit more depth to work in today. So I expect DME to continue to apply that pressure. And if Oak Ridge is not able to execute in the half court and utilize their bigs, their front line, I think this thing could get out of hand fairly quickly.
Yeah, that too must be nice for Coach Benaggio to have the most depth he has all year, with just 2 bench players still nonetheless. Oak Ridge getting on the board with the free throw, their first point of the night. Pioneers average 53 points a game. That's the same number they shoot from the free throw line, only 53%, but West able to hit both of her opportunities from the stripe. So Oak Ridge on the board, trailing by half a dozen, almost 3 minutes in. The clock on the shot clock above this basket not working, by the way, so DME without that benefit on their offensive end. No shot clocks to worry about in this matchup as the 3 again from Happer. High arcing shot, that was too long. Lubin up the floor for Oak Ridge. She's one of 2 captains on this team. Dishes away to Lawson, and Lawson will now set up the offense. Back over to Lubin on the wing. Attacks to the baseline. Gets the shot altered, made them blocked even from Moore. Now Happer in transition, striding to the hoop. Couldn't finish off the glass, but there for the rebounds, McMillan. McMillan with the teardrop that goes.
Nice shot by McMillan. And again, that DME transition offense, they are down the court, throwing the ball ahead in a heartbeat.
Scoring has been up quite a bit from McMillan over the last few weeks. Was averaging 13 points per game over a 5-game stretch to enter this week. Gives DME that 8-point lead back, and now here's a steal for Happer after Duckett deflected it.
Yeah, McMillan has definitely started to come into her own. The sophomore from Apopka, Florida, has really started to find her groove and her role on this team. And she's got a bright future ahead of her. Already holds offers from Bethune-Cookman, as well as some other low major interests. And She's got, I always say this about her, she's got a swagger to her that most sophomores don't have. She plays with a certain confidence, and she's a great playmaker off of the dribble and has a great feel for the game. And as you said, her scoring lately, she's been more aggressive. Coach Panagio has been spending a lot of time with her on her shooting, and it's paying off in these last few games.
Still in that process, leading the team in assists with twice as many as anyone else on the squad. 10-2 lead for DME midway through the first quarter. Corner three off the back iron there for Quarterman. Put back try, no good under the hoop for Grant. And DME will throw it away on the outlet pass from Rayner.
Quarterman is one of 3 Oak Ridge players who actually played travel basketball for Coach Panagio last season. Jasmine, the young point guard, what is her name? Number 11, Gina Lawson, as well as Callie West, all played travel basketball for Coach Panagio last year. So he's very familiar with their personnel.
Certainly an advantage for DME, you would imagine, as Oak Ridge comes up empty with a pair of shots on the possession. The last one from Purifoy, and there's McMillan foul on the drive to the hoop.
It's a good take by McMillan. Little change of pace, hesitation move at the free throw line, and then attacks hard downhill. She's one of my favorite players to watch. She's entertaining. She's got all the shakes, and she's fun to watch. Very entertaining player.
5'6" sophomore hits the first free throw.
Several college prospects here in the on the floor for Oak Ridge and DME. We've got Bethune-Cookman is in the house, North Florida, Jacksonville. So 3 Division I schools from Florida here to watch this matchup tonight. Definitely a lot of prospects on the floor.
There's Cantone trying to get it to Duckett, but the pass off the mark and out of bounds. DME turns it over with a 10-point lead. Lawson will check back in for Oak Ridge. The Pioneers have managed just 2 points in the first 5 minutes tonight, reminiscent of what we saw last time out for DME. And the Rock manages 26 points for the whole game and took a while to get on the board themselves on Saturday. Lawson into the corner. Now inside the post for Grant. The runner in the lane, good with the whistle. I think it'll be an and one for Anisha Grant, the leading scorer on this Pioneer team.
She's got to get going. She's their go-to player, Division I prospect. That's the first time in today's game where they've thrown her the ball and allowed her to make a move. So that's good to see her be aggressive. Oak Ridge, they've got to do a better job getting the ball to her.
Listed at 6'2" on the roster. If that's the case, tallest player in this game from either side. And Grant, who's averaging 16 points per contest, knocks down the free throw. She has her first points tonight. Some pressure in the backcourt put on by the Pioneers as they trail by 7. Rayner with the mid-range jumper. That's off the mark. Here comes the 5-foot Lawson getting into the lane, and before passing it off, West handing back to Lawson. Driving into the paint, got it knocked away from behind by Cantone, but there for the pickup was Grant, and she'll head back to the free throw line.
I think Oak Ridge is making the adjustment to try to go inside to Grant. It's their best chance with Brianna Rayner being DME's front line is fairly young and inexperienced, especially Rayner, only a sophomore. And right now she's a little bit outmatched in size. So if I'm Oak Ridge, I'm looking to continue to establish a post presence with Grant and play inside out to get my guards some easier looks on the perimeter, because if I was a betting man, the backcourt DME has definitely have the advantage with their guard play. Oak Ridge has got to use the front line.
And if nothing else, may be able to get DME in some foul trouble. Already 4 fouls here in this first quarter. Remember, they only have 7 players on the roster.
Absolutely. That could be critical as we move forward in this game. There's Tyler again.
Happer's second 3 of the night, 20th on the year. It's a 9-point lead for DME. Back inside they go. Does Oak Ridge, but unable to finish the runner was Grant. DME off to the races, but a traveling call against Duckett. Her second turnover tonight. for all the good things she does lead the team in turnovers with 4 a game.
Yeah,
isn't a whole lot either.
Unforced one there. Just picked up the ball and shuffled her feet.
Corner 3, no good for Taylor Duffy, but there's Grant on the rebound. The kick out. Grant gets it back in the short corner. Can't hit the jumper, and McMillan tracks down the loose ball. Final 90 seconds of the first quarter. McMillan crosses to the foul line, swings over to Cantone, and she knocks down the triple.
That's a nice move by Mary McWilliams to Cantone, her AAU teammate and one of her best friends from a Pop Cup.
Cantone with a 3 now in 4 straight games. There's McMillan again down the center of the paint. Couldn't finish the finger roll. Duffy trying to push the other direction for the Pioneers, coast to coast, and gets the bucket. Taylor Duffy averaging just 3 points a game. Got the transition bucket there to make it a 10-point deficit for Oak Ridge in the final 45 seconds of the opening quarter. Wide open inside was Rayner, but she blew the layup.
She's got to hustle back. I know you missed the layup, but right now her body language is not telling Coach Panaggio she wants to stay on the floor very long.
Lawson missed the layup on the other side for the Pioneers. Now Cantone with the drive and kick. Duckett back to Cantone. Happer, who already has 2 threes, will try it again, and this time it's a little bit short. Final 15 seconds of the quarter. Oak Ridge can hold it out for the final shot. Looks like they'll choose to do so, trailing by 10. Now here's a 3 from Duffy. That's airballed out of bounds. So that will give DME a chance with 7 seconds left, and we get our first look tonight at Marissa Roback, who just joined the team over the weekend.
Good shooter, good spot up. Has been a great teammate thus far. Had a great game against the Rock last week. And she'll be great against the zone here where she can just stay around the perimeter and knock down some open shots.
McMillan couldn't beat the buzzer, and that puts an end to a good first quarter for DME to start tonight against Oak Ridge. As after 8 minutes of action, it's the home team, DME leading 18-8 against Oak Ridge. And DME jumped out quickly there in the first quarter, but it appeared as the quarter moved along that Oak Ridge evened things out late in that first frame a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. They did a better job defensively. Oak Ridge stopped their transition late in the later part of that first quarter, but and they started going inside. They got some baskets inside, got some free throws, and that's what they're going to have to do because their backcourt, I don't think can match up physically with DME. So I think they're going to have to slow DME down, don't let them run, and you're going to have to force DME to make some shots against that zone.
DME seeing the zone defense once again. The Rock tried that for at least parts of the game Saturday, and for a little bit of amount of time there in the first half at least, it seemed like DME struggled a bit against the zone. Now faced with it again tonight.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The longer they stay in that zone, the more time DME has to get comfortable against it, the more time Coach Panaggio can make those adjustments. And they switched it up a little bit. They applied some pressure in the backcourt, but I think that's the DME's advantage. If I'm Oak Ridge, I'm either staying in the zone, being very active, or I'm going man-to-man, but I'm not picking up DME full court. Their guards are just too good. They're too quick, and then they got guys on the perimeter that can always knock down shots. So if I'm Oak Ridge, I'm trying to slow this game down a little bit and throw the ball inside.
DME gets it to start the second quarter with their 18-8 lead. Duckett.
Man-to-man here by Oak Ridge.
Kick out to Roback up top. McMillan as Roback fell down. Had to get up quickly. McMillan off the screen. Drives the lane to the hoop. Scoops it in.
There's Mary's Boogie. We call her Mary McBoogie is her nickname, and that's the reason why. A lot of times coaches call the ability to break down a defender, they call it Boogie, and she's got plenty of it, as she showed there.
Some miscommunication on the defensive end for DME leads to an open 3, but Duffy couldn't connect. And McMillan has it for the home squad. Up ahead, Duckett. Duckett to the hoop. The runner on the baseline falls.
Nice shot. Nice shot by Lexi.
Duckett with 16 points Saturday in that win against the Rock. And DME has opened up now a 14-point lead just a minute into the second quarter. Quarterman attacking with the dribble. Picks up. swings it to the elbow for West. Now Lubin with the open three, and she hits her 15th triple of the year.
Miscommunication on the backside by McMillan and Marissa there. Lost who their man was, and Lubin, the senior, gets a wide open shot.
Deep two from McMillan off the back iron, rebounded by Rainey, the other captain on this Oak Ridge team, along with Lubin, who hit that three last possession and now gets it right back on the wing where she hit the three. Working with that knee brace on the right leg, she attacks the rim this time but couldn't finish the drive. Happer bounces to Rayner. Rayner misses another. And a leak out for Lubin looking to push. 2-on-2. There's a sidestep to the hoop. Got it deflected. Stays with it. The kick out to Quarterman. That's off the mark. The rebound still loose on the near side, and it's saved to row back by Rayner. Happer with a spin cycle. And a whistle call before the shot was issued. A timeout taken by DME.
A little sloppy there by DME on both ends of the floor. Missed layup, back in transition, almost a foul. Coach Penage is going to take a timeout here and try to settle down his group.
5:51 to go first half, just a little bit into the second quarter, and DME now pushing its lead further into double figures as they lead 22-11 against Oak Ridge tonight. And for DME, they've been able to get to the rim pretty much whenever it appears they would like on the offensive end, but Mary McMillan, as good of a first half she has had, a couple of missed layups, and Brianna Rayner with two easy misses around the rim as well to start tonight.
Yeah, they've left some points out there, but again, they continue to push the basketball, and they're in attack mode. That's the part about the game so far that I like. They're not slowing things down. They're sticking to what they do best, which is push, move the basketball, and attack the rim. And what I like about this team is they each know their role. For the most part, their players stay within what they do best. McMillan is the playmaker. She knows it. Lexi gets out on the floor. She's a slasher. Tyler's a scorer. You don't see rollback out there trying to make plays with the dribble. She knows her role, and that's important for teams to have great success.
The DME out of the timeout with it in their half court. Moore at the high post. Over to Cantone. Now McMillan up top. Lobs to the cutting Duckett. Quick pass, Moore. Moore can't hit the jumper. Gets her own rebound. Puts it back.
She's a hustler. She's a hustler. I think she averages a double-double, and that's why. She's just relentless. She's not the biggest or strongest or most athletic, but she is relentless on the board. She's a great outlet passer, as we can see there, to roll back. But I'm a fan of her game because she just works hard.
Now Cantone from downtown. Off the mark. McMillan skying for the weak side rebound and keep it here. Duckett can't connect. McMillan with the second rebound of the possession, but can't finish the third try for DME. Now McMillan will try her luck from beyond the arc. She's fouled on the shot attempt, and the sophomore will shoot three from the stripe. Yeah,
I love the way DME is sharing the basketball. Very unselfish play, and they are going after it on the boards. Oak Ridge has got to box out, and they've got to come up with those rebounds.
Yeah, how about Mary, listed as the shortest player on DME's team, but 2 offensive rebounds in that own possession, gets herself to the line.
Yep, the last thing Oak Ridge wants to do is allow DME to get second and third opportunities on the offensive end.
McMillan misses the first. Gets the second to go. Averaging 9 points, 5 assists, even 3 rebounds a game as a sophomore this year. She's got one more try coming up here from the line, having already given DME a 14-point lead here almost midway through the second quarter. And the final attempt rims in and out, so she only makes 1 of 3, but another offensive rebound for DME as Cantone brings it in. And pass knocked out of bounds. Duckett trying to go in for more on the block. So Duckett will inbound for DME. Bounces to McMillan.
That's got to be a chest pass by Duckett. McMillan was wide open, but she threw a bounce pass, which allowed the defense to recover.
3 for Cantone is short. Deep rebound won't be tracked down in time and went out of bounds and over to the Pioneers. Racing ahead is Lawson. She's bumped and fouled by Duckett. That's the first foul this quarter on DME after they picked up 4 in the opening stanza. So still a foul to give as the Pioneers will inbound on their half court. Immediately go inside for their leading scorer, Grant. An up and under, a foul drawn on the floor. Don't count the bucket. And they'll have to inbound.
I like that side out of bounds there by Coach Williams. Lines all her players up at half court near the inbounder, and all they're trying to do is isolate the post. Great play there to go inside.
Rayner has to come in for Moore, who I believe just entered foul trouble with that personal. We have 4:24 to go in the first half. That was the final foul to give for DME. Corner jumper is no good there for West. Cantone the other way, all the way to the hoop for DME. Could hear the slap from here.
That was a good take by Cantone, aggressive move. And again, I always tell my players, go to the rim to score. Do not worry about the shot blocker. For the majority of times, you're going to get the foul. You're going to draw the foul, and the best thing that can happen is you score it and you get to the free throw line.
Cantone with the second lowest free throw percentage on the team, but in each of the last 2 outings, she has made 5 of 6. So she's gotten there often of late, and she's been able to take advantage, though right on cue she misses the first here.
She's got an opportunity to be a good shooter. Her mechanics are almost flawless, to be honest with you, when it comes to teaching of shooting technique. She's got great form, which will allow her to continue to improve rapidly.
She gives DME a 15-point lead. As unable to handle the pass inside was Grant. It was stolen away by Rayner. Here's McMillan shuffling it over to Duckett, who hits down the mid-range jumper. Jackson, shot waved off, traveling called first, and a turnover on Oak Ridge. .345 to go first half. DME leading 28-11 with the basketball. Duckett with the fadeaway, airballing it too strong, and the rebound gets knocked out of bounds by her teammate Rayner.
Little isolation play for Duckett there. Tough pull-up shot, but she's actually a very good in-between shooter. She's got a great mid-range game, so not a horrible shot for Duckett against the smaller defender.
Rayner foul on the rebound on the other end. And now it's just the 15th foul on Oak Ridge. So they still have one more to give with 3:25 to play in the second quarter. McMillan will bring up for DME with their 17-point lead. Cantone gets inside the perimeter, inside the lane. Shot no good at the rim. Rebounded by Grant. Outlet to Lawson. Up ahead, Lubin. Foul on the 3 that almost went down. It was halfway in, and instead she'll have to earn them from the line.
I don't know about that one, Luke. I thought Lexi was under control. Lubin, it was a hard shot, contested shot, but I don't think she fouled her. I think she fell backwards and sold it. And she's going to earn herself some free throws here.
Missing the first, Lubin, a 5'3" senior, shooting 67% from the line this year, one of 2 captains on this Pioneers team. Gets the second. She scored 10 points 2 nights ago in the loss against Timber Creek, reaching double figures for the 6th time this year in 15 games.
She's a good ball player. Her father's actually one of the assistants for Oak Ridge. And you can tell she's got a good knowledge of the game and is a very, very good leader for them. Actually, as you can see, she's wearing a knee brace. She had ACL surgery in April, tore her ACL after her junior campaign, and made a speedy recovery. Now is here as a senior, leading her team thus far this year.
Grant had her shot blocked out of bounds, so the Pioneers will inbound into their own hoop. There's Lubin. She got the steal moments ago on the defensive end. Goes in for Grant. The kick out. Lubin with a deep 3. Off the mark.
Yeah, that was behind the NBA line. And I think what often happens here when teams play at DME is most courts don't even have an NBA line nor the college line. We have both. And they lose track of where they're at. They see that line in their peripheral vision, and they'll shoot it without even realizing they're shooting from NBA range. And that happens all the time here in our games.
Yeah, 3 different three-point arcs. They're on the floor. There's a travel again on Duckett, her second travel tonight.
Yeah, she's a little frustrated. Got off to a good start, but the couple of calls that have gone against her, she's smiling, hopefully shaking it off. But definitely a little frustration with that call.
2:15 to go in the first half. A 15-point lead for DME. They led by 10 to start the quarter. Here's a three-pointer, too long for Jackson. This team in Oak Ridge, they made only 2 threes in their last game.
Beautiful find by Duckett.
Cantone couldn't finish. And the rebound deflected out of bounds, so it'll stay here.
This team does a great job of throwing the basketball ahead, and it's something that is underrated that young players don't always do. They think they want to lead the break with the basketball in their hands, but the basketball will always move faster than any player can.
Cantone gets the inbounds pass up top. Final 2 minutes of the half. McMillan, guarded by Quarterman, gets past her into the lane, to the hoop, the lefty layup.
That's tough. Off the wrong foot with the left hand. She's showing off here for these college coaches tonight.
Trying to attack her is Lawson. McMillan up to the task. Lawson bouncing into the post for Grant. The kick out. Jackson goes back inside. Grant with the turnaround off the window.
Great move by Grant. Rayner's outmatched there in the post. She's got to try to make it a little bit more difficult to let that ball get in there. She's got a 3/4 of front the post.
McMillan pressured up top. Has to hand it off to Duckett. And right back to Mary. Now McMillan crossing into the lane, gets fouled.
The crowd's getting into it here at DME. Some of our post-grad players are liking McMillan's moves.
She's kind of taken over here on the offensive end.
Sure has. And she's capable. Again, her ability to break down her defender and get in the paint is really, really good. And it's only going to keep getting better. The quicker she gets, the more mature she gets. Because she possesses really, really good ball handling skills.
Final minute first half. West passes out to Quarterman. The step back jumper rims in and out. 45 seconds remain as McMillan walks it up. DME leading by 15. See how patient they choose to be. DME eventually will get a timeout. Coach Panaggio trying for a few moments before the refs heard. He'll draw up something with 37 seconds left.
He was trying to just vocalize it, but some of his players were in the wrong spots and had to take the timeout here in the last 37 seconds of the first half.
30-second timeout for DME with a 15-point lead and the basketball here at 37 seconds left. If you're Coach Panaggio in your huddle right now, what are you telling your girls? What are you drawing up here for this final 37 seconds of the second quarter?
I think he's going to either isolate for McMillan and let her make a play for one of her teammates or herself at the top of the key, maybe a 1-4 flat set, or he's going to put her in a pick and roll and bring out one of Oak Ridge's bigs and put the ball in Mary's hands and let her make a play.
McMillan has led the way tonight for DME en route to the current 15-point lead, holding Oak Ridge to just 15 points thus far in the first half, much like a couple days ago against the Rock where the total was even lower at halftime. And DME, without a shot clock in these games, has a chance to hold it out for the last shot should they choose.
Yeah, and I think Oak Ridge has done a poor job of shot selection in the first half. They've taken some tough shots that do not work towards their advantage because they're long rebounds and they end up being transition baskets for DME.
Open three. No, it's a deep two. A two for Duckett with a foot on the line in the corner. 17-point lead for DME. 20 seconds remains. Turnaround jumper from the block off the mark for Grant. DME gets it back. 12 seconds left as McMillan brings it across midcourt. Into single digits now. All by herself up top. She loses the dribble. Ball loose at the top of the key, and a foul called against, I think it will go on DME with 3.7 seconds left.
Yeah, McMillan just coughed it up there. Unforced error there. She was just doing a little too much with the basketball there, and as Rayner came up to set the ball screen, forced the turnover there.
And on top of it, with the foul, that puts DME into the bonus, leads to free throws here for Oak Ridge with just 3.7 seconds left. 1-1 for Quarterman, and she sticks the first. Quarterman at the line for the first time in 4 games, shooting 61% this year from the stripe. Misses the second. Rebound. Put back at the horn is good for Grant. It's a 3-point possession for Oak Ridge to end the first half. And heading into the locker room, they now are within 14, trailing 32-18. But I'm sure after that, those final 5 seconds, feeling a little better after the first half.
Yeah, that's a good way to end the half for Oak Ridge. They've got to get into that locker room and make a couple of adjustments, one of them being their shot selection. I think they're taking too tough a shot, especially when you have a game with no shot clock. Mm-hmm. There's no reason with no shot clock for you to take a bad shot. And they've taken several of them, given DME some good opportunities for them to run out, and that's what they want to do. DME does not want to play a slow game. So if I'm Oak Ridge, I'm doing a better job of moving the basketball, making DME play longer possessions defensively. It'll keep them from running out in transition, and it'll slowly wear them down because they're not very deep. So that's what I'm doing if I'm Oak Ridge, trying to slow DME. And then I'm going to Grant. I'm using Lubin, my senior. I'm counting on her, and the emphasis has got to be to go inside to Grant.
So with that said, in the shot selection for Oak Ridge, this is the second straight game in which DME defensively has looked almost immaculate in a first half. Has it been mainly that shot selection for Oak Ridge, or DME defensively has been playing really well of late?
No, yeah, I give credit to DME's backcourt. Their guards apply a lot of pressure. They don't make it easy to reverse the ball, move it, throw it in. Even throw it inside is difficult when you've got somebody all over you, smothering you on the perimeter. So the majority of that credit will go to DME. That's what they're forcing Oak Ridge to do. Oak Ridge is just kind of falling into it. But no, the defense has been almost 100% of the possessions has been really, really good by DME with their ball pressure and rotations, and they're not letting Oak Ridge get any easy layups.
10-point lead after the first quarter for DME. They have since pushed it now to 14 at the half. What have you liked most from the home team tonight?
I think the transition. The transition has been really, really good. The way they're running their lanes and throwing the basketball ahead, they're doing it at a high level, especially for the high school game. They are running the floor extremely well for having a smaller lineup and not a lot of depth. They're hustling. They're outletting the ball really, really well. So that's been what's been most impressive to me, along with their unselfishness, their willingness to pass the ball to an open teammate. And I think those two have been big keys for them here today.
DME looking for its second home win of the week. Leads 32-18 at the half. Second half coming up in less than 8 minutes here from Daytona Beach. So we'll pause for a few moments, come back just before the start of the second half, and then bring you the final 16 minutes tonight with DME leading 32-18 here at the break against Oak Ridge from DME Sports Academy in Daytona Beach. We get set for the second half here at DME Sports Academy in Daytona Beach, where as we begin the third quarter, it's DME leading Oak Ridge 32-18 at the start of the third. Luke Morrow, Dan Mondragon with you here, courtside DME. And the home team looking for its 9th win of the year as Oak Ridge gets the ball to begin. They're in the visiting greens here in Daytona out of Orlando. DME obviously in the home white uniforms with this 14-point lead after they allowed just 10 first-half points last time out on Saturday, 18 tonight, and now they start the second half with a steal. McMillan, who led the way for DME in the first half, gets it into the front court and finds Duckett. Those are the two leading scorers to this point. McMillan and Duckett each with 9 points. The difference, McMillan's 1 point away from a double-double. Back out to McMillan at the point. Now Duckett, foul line extended, dribbles out towards the key, or rather towards the arc. Gives back to McMillan. No shot clock. DME being very patient here on their first possession of the third quarter. Already a minute gone by. McMillan now for three. It's good.
Great shot by McMillan. She's definitely in a rhythm today. 10 points, 9 points. That makes 12 there.
She's made a 3 in 10 of 13 games this year as Grant gets into double figures with that lay-in. She leads Oak Ridge in scoring with 10 points. DME led after the first quarter by 10 points. And then it was more even in the second quarter, outscoring Oak Ridge 14-10 as the floater in the lane was off the mark and then out of bounds. Goes back over to the Pioneers as they trail by 15.
Oak Ridge has got to get a good possession here. They got to get themselves, cut the lead to 10, force DME to call a timeout, and just chip away at it. It starts with good shots. They got to go inside to Grant here.
Grant with the latest bucket, leading the team at her 10. Here's the runner that's banked in for Lubin, second on the team tonight in scoring. Now it's 7.
The senior guard will work as well. Great move by Lubin to turn the corner in the pick and roll and get to the basket there.
So it should come as not much of a surprise, but the two leading scorers for Oak Ridge have combined tonight for 17 of 22 points. As McMillan commits an over-the-top foul, trying to track down her own rebound. She already has 10 of those tonight.
Yeah, she forced that one. Coach Panazzi was telling her it's an okay shot. He's just trying to keep her confident. But then I think she knew it was a bad shot, rushed in there to try to make up for it, and fouled the rebounder.
An air ball out of bounds for the Pioneers. Gives her right back to DME.
Another quick shot by Lubin. Both point guards with two quick triggers on back-to-back possessions.
DME leading 35-22. Oak Ridge has not been able to get this to single digits since the first quarter. Rayner, foul line jumper, that drops in.
Nice shot for Rayner there on the pull-up. Good to see her get on the board.
Coming off a double-double Saturday despite foul trouble, and it hasn't been as smooth tonight offensively. There's a corner three. Lubin trying to shoot the Pioneers back into it. Ducking off to the races, weaving in and out of traffic, giving it to Cantone on the baseline.
She missed Tyler there. Cantone completely missed her teammate on the wing after that rebound.
Makes up for it with the lay-in inside. DME back up by 17. Lawson lobs in for West. Now Quarterman for three, and she gets her second of the night.
That looked good for Quarterman there. She looked confident, came off her hand very, very smoothly. Good shot there by Quarterman.
She leads the team with 18 made three-pointers this year. They don't make a lot of threes, but at least tonight they've been taking a lot. There's Happer with a three of her own from NBA range. That's off the back iron. McMillan with another board. Shuffles it to Rayner, who's fouled.
She's got to finish those. She's struggling here at point-blank range. That's 3 or 4 she's left out on the floor, but a great pass by McMillan.
12 points, 11 rebounds for McMillan already, the double-double. And if Rayner is able to finish that, she'd also have 5 assists and be halfway in the assist column to getting a triple-double.
Yeah. I think she just airballed that.
I think so, too. I wasn't sure if that was a clean swish or if that was an air ball.
Well, she shoots it so high that sometimes her shots will go in and barely move the net. But I think that first one was an air ball. But gets the second to go, so.
Grant was fouled inside DME. Thought they had the clean block. Instead, Grant will go to the line. Grant went 5 for 8 from the free throw line last game. That was 2 nights ago for Oak Ridge. They're in a stretch here of 7 games in 11 days. And for Grant in double figures tonight to lead the way with her 10 points. Missing the first free throw here. Now 2 for 3 for the line tonight for the 6'2 junior who's made at least 1 free throw in 9 straight games. She gets there often. Leads the team in scoring with 16 points. Also averages 8 rebounds per game this year. And at times has been a handful tonight as she misses both free throws, but it's rebounded by Quarterman. Back inside for Grant. Quarterman gets her right back, attacking the hoop, gets her shot blocked, and another late whistle for the foul. Happer swiping her hands across, saying that, no way, that was clean. Instead, she gets charged for the personal, and it's Quarterman at the line. And Quarterman hits the free throw. So she went 4 games without a free throw attempt. Now Quarterman, with those 2 free throw tries in the final seconds of the first half, back there midway through the third quarter, and makes them both.
I always tell players, great scorers are able to get to the free throw line. If you want to become a great scorer, you got to be able to draw fouls and get the easy points.
Duckett sinks the corner jumper.
That's her shot right there. In transition, mid-range pull-up, 15 feet. She's almost automatic from that range.
3-pointer for Jackson off the back of the rim. Rebounded by Grant. Here's another 3, this time for Quarterman. That's well off the mark. Lubin with the rebound. Lubin with the floater, no good. Grant, 4th shot of the possession goes.
That's a nice finish by Grant there with the soft touch off the glass. But again, no need for Oak Ridge to take those first 2. They got away with one there, but they're just forcing the shots.
McMillan with her 12th rebound, gets her 5th assist on the finish for Rayner.
She's having herself a night. Lost the headband on that assist, and she's still playing.
Now an offensive foul called as Kaylee West set an illegal screen on McMillan. First foul this half against Oak Ridge. DME will get it back with just less than 3 minutes to go in the third quarter, leading by 16. And they'll also get Keani Moore back in the game with her foul trouble, checking in for Brianna Rayner. Moore's minutes have been limited the last 2 games because of foul trouble. Still had a double-double on Saturday.
Oak Ridge chosen zone there. DME drew up a little man-to-man play, which ended up working out well for them.
Kick out to the corner to Quarterman. Drives the baseline, and from her waist, trying to get it up towards the rim, drew the foul. And she'll head right back to the line.
Quarterman is being a lot more aggressive here in the second half. Oak Ridge's boys team is actually nationally ranked 7th in the state of Florida. They feature some high-level Division I players. Emmett Williams is a 5-star recruit. Antoine Jones is a 5-star recruit, and Damon Harge is a tough, about as tough as you can be at 5'8". But their only 3 losses in the season came to DeMatha, Paul 5th, another nationally ranked opponent, and Memphis East, who was the #1 team in the country at the beginning of this year. So they are playing a tough schedule and doing a heck of a job. They're going to contend for a state title this year, no doubt about it.
And on the women's side, having their best season in quite some time, off to a 9-6 start this year, but trailing by 15 here tonight in the third. Cantone lost it out of bounds, kicking it out of her hands and across the baseline for the turnover. So Oak Ridge gets it back with a chance to cut it towards a dozen. Well, they haven't been within single digits since late in the first quarter. They had 8 points in the first quarter at Oak Ridge, 10 in the second, but already 14 here in the third. With still 95 seconds to play, here's a runner in the lane that trickles through for Taylor Duffy.
It's a good shot by Duffy there to turn the corner and shoot the floater.
Duckett breaking the press, passes to Happer, who lost it out of bounds, and here come the Pioneers within 13, getting the ball back.
The half-court pressure has forced a couple of unforced errors for DME. They've got to just settle down, continue to attack, but take care of the basketball.
Lubin with an errant pass that will go out of bounds, and Oak Ridge turns it over. The press remains on for the Pioneers. A minute 12 to go, third quarter. DME leading by 13 at the moment. They were up 14 at the half, so they've been outscored so far this quarter. Well, they're going to call a backcourt there, not so sure. McMillan received the pass from Moore, and she did her very best to try to get over the timeline before receiving the pass.
Interestingly enough, we had a weekly coaches meeting here at DME, and our topic was zone press, how to beat zone presses, and Mikey's team underachieving here in the last couple of minutes against the pressure. But I'm confident that they're going to adjust. He might have to take a timeout here in the fourth quarter if they continue to cut the lead. But I think they'll end up doing a good job in adjusting to this press here.
West makes an 11-point deficit for the Pioneers with that elbow jumper. DME breaks the press with a pass up ahead to Happer. Inside for Moore, powering her way to the hoop, a spin, a fade, and a basket.
A turnaround jumper by Moore, showing a little bit of finesse.
Averages 12 points to go along with 11 rebounds per game this year. Duffy with a circus shot gets bailed out on the whistle. She'll shoot two. $18 seconds to go here in the third quarter. It's a 13-point lead for DME, but 2 free throws coming for Taylor Duffy, who on the year is just a 34% free throw shooter. 10 of 29, and now make it 10 of 30 with that miss. She had 1 point in the Tuesday night loss on her first free throw make in 5 games at the time. Final 18 seconds of the third quarter. The free throw short, just grazing the front rim, rebounded by Rayner. DME having to break this press to try to get a last-second bucket, leading by 13. McMillan splitting a double, passing off to Rayner, who couldn't handle it. Happer picking up the loose ball. The floater good at the buzzer to end the third quarter on a positive for DME, a quarter in which up until that bucket, they were getting outscored, but they now lead by 15 heading to the fourth.
Yeah, the adjustment by Oak Ridge was effective for them. They were able to cut the lead to 13. I look for them to stay in that press, make some adjustment to not let the ball get in the middle of the floor. That's the key when you're pressing. As soon as the ball gets into the middle of the floor, it is almost impossible to get traps, and it's going to force you to get back into your matchup. But DME, they're going to make an adjustment. They're going to settle down. Right now, they just looked a little bit freaked out by the press. But I know Coach Panaggio well, and I know he's talking to them about the spots, the positions, and what they're looking to do against that press. Because Oak Ridge, they got 8 minutes. They've done the lead is still at 15, so they've got to turn up the pressure here in the last quarter if they want to have a chance to win this game down the stretch.
What has been the biggest issue in terms of execution for DME against that pressure?
I think there's been a couple of passes that have just been a little bit off the mark. A player here or there doesn't catch the ball, and a quick shot. And sometimes what happens against the press, sometimes you get a wide open look and you take it, even though it's a quick shot because you're wide open. But sometimes that's what the press wants you to do, and then they get a rebound and they're able to push, and momentum starts to go their way. So I think they just got to stick to what they're doing, but just settle in, make good passes, use ball fakes to be a little bit crisper. Nice play there, out of timeout there.
And DME will begin the final quarter with a bucket from Duckett to give them a 17-point lead. DME outscored Oak Ridge by 10 in the first quarter, outscored them by just 4 in the second, and only 1 in the third quarter because of that buzzer-beating basket for Happer. As the mid-range jumper, no good for Grant. And here's McMillan pushing up the floor, gives to Happer. Happer airballing the runner on the baseline. It's rebounded by Oak Ridge, but Duckett stealing it away.
She's fast. She might be the fastest player out on the court. And I think that's one of her biggest assets is her athleticism. She can get up and down that basketball floor.
And got tripped up and fouled by Duffy. And DME will inbound on the third foul only this half against Oak Ridge.
Duckett actually, she grew up doing gymnastics, and is a great track runner. Last year ran track for Father Lopez and was in the state tournament. I believe it was for the 400. So she's a heck of an athlete.
Grant fouled after the steal. She'll head back to the line for 2 more. She leads the team in scoring tonight. Her and Lubin, the 2 Pioneers in double figures. And rims out the first free throw. That's already 6 fouls on DME this half, so free throws here on out for Oak Ridge to try to get back into this one.
Absolutely. Oak Ridge has got to start making these free throws. Those are points that you're leaving out there on the floor.
Pair of misses for Grant. The rebound couldn't be secured by the Pioneers either. This is a team shooting just 53% for the line this year and sticking to that average again tonight. McMillan to Happer to break the press. Up ahead, Rayner. Turnaround shot. No good. Hit the glass before the rim. Moore gets her shot blocked, but a foul. That'll go on Grant, and Moore will head to the line for 2 free throws. Moore shoots it well for the forward, 72% on the year. Went 4 of 7 on Saturday and makes her first here tonight. I haven't seen a whole lot of Moore tonight because of foul trouble. As there's an issue over at the scores table, holding up the second attempt from the line for Moore. They reset the clock, adding a few extra seconds that ran off following the foul. 6:52 to go, fourth quarter. DME at the moment leading by 18. And Moore's able to add on. It's 55-36. Lawson losing it off her own foot as she tried to dribble behind her back, and she lost it out of bounds for a turnover. That's certainly something the Pioneers can't afford. And DME now with a chance to balloon the lead into the 20s. Up 19 with the basketball. McMillan already with a double-double tonight. Nearing a triple-double. Gets it to Duckett, and she hits the foul line jumper.
Another nice 15-foot jump shot for Lexi.
21-point lead for DME, believe their largest of the night. Whistle called on the Grant drive to the hoop. She drew the foul. She'll shoot 1 and 1. That's 7 fouls now this half against DME, so Grant will go back to the line where she's been quite a bit tonight, but hasn't been all that successful.
Yeah, she's got to put these in. If they're going to have a chance, they gotta use the foul count against DME and be aggressive, get to the free throw line, stop the clock. You get to set up your press. So there's a lot of benefits to, one, getting to the free throw line as you're coming back, and 2, when you're behind.
Cantone checks in for Happer on DME's side. It's been a bit of a quiet night for Grant. She does have, I believe, 13 points. But in the last 2 games for Oak Ridge, she scored 27 and 25.
Yeah, and I'm gonna test that to DME's guards, not allowing Oak Ridge's backcourt to throw it into her, because I think if she had more touches, she would have more points. But I believe that.
Now with 14 tonight, DME up 19. Final 6 minutes. McMillan dribbling against Purifoy inside, and Rayner's fouled. She'll get a pair of free throws of her own. Exactly 6 minutes to go with DME leading by 19. If they hold on tonight, they'll improve to 4-0 here at home, before heading out on the road for the MLK shootout this weekend and celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. They'll be in Montgomery, Alabama. We'll take on a team from Atlanta, a team from North Carolina over the weekend.
Nice.
Rayner with those high arcing shots gets the second free throw in. It's back to a 21-point lead for DME. Lubin in trouble on the baseline, and they got poked free by Moore, so Oak Ridge will have a chance to reset with an inbounds. West to get it in. Lubin on the wing.
Got two girls posted on the same side of the floor. Grant and West were both on that right side and just jammed up the spacing.
They each missed a shot on the possession. McMillan in the front court for DME off a screen. Pull up jumper, rims out and into the hands of Lubin. Lubin passes behind to Lawson. Has her pass deflected and stolen by Moore.
Great outlet by Moore there, and a great bounce pass.
Duckett got it to Cantone, and then she had it knocked free by Lubin, and when Cantone came down with it, she was standing on the baseline.
Cantone is young. She's got a bright future. One of the areas of improvement for her has got to be her strength, not just physically, but with the basketball in her hand when she's attacking the rim.
Grant turns it over. Duckett up ahead for DME. Slows up now in the front court, with DME leading by 21, less than 5 minutes to go. Duckett fakes the three, takes a deep two instead. That's off the mark. Rebounded by Grant. McMillan with a steal defensively. Dribbles away from trouble into the lane. A one-on-one, a sidestep, a reverse layup that doesn't fall in.
Yeah, that was a tough shot.
Cantone picked up the rolling ball for the rebound. Kicks out. Duckett now open for three. Bullseye.
Great pass by Moore to find the open Duckett, and she's having a great night as well.
That's her second three tonight. She's in double figures for DME. Quarterman misses another three for Oak Ridge. And DME gets it back, already leading by 24, their largest advantage tonight. McMillan will check out for maybe the first time all night. Happer comes back in. It's Rayner, Moore, Happer, Duckett, and Cantone. And Duckett will be the one who brings it up for DME. Only 7 players on the roster for DME. Haven't seen a whole lot of rowback tonight, so these girls have left it all on the floor.
Yeah, there it is again, just not being strong with the basketball for Cantone.
Cantone with a turnover. Jumper on the other end, rims in and out for West, and a foul on the putback try that sends Grant back to the line. Well, you see Cantone as a sophomore and some of that maybe youth and inexperience. As you said, she'll continue to get better, but when you compare her to McMillan, I guess it makes Mary look that much better as a sophomore and that much more of a veteran already.
Yeah, absolutely, and it goes back to me saying the confidence that McMillan plays with. Cantone is still kind of trying to find herself as a player, where I think McMillan is very comfortable in her own skin as a point guard. She knows what her role is. She understands. And I think Cantone is going to end up being a really, really solid player. I really do, because she's got a good skill set. She's got the feel. She's just got to be a little bit tougher physically. and learn how to be strong with that basketball, and that'll come. That'll come. You know, you're talking about girls that are 15, 16 years old, so they've got a lot of growing to do, a lot of maturing to do. So no doubt in my mind they're both going to end up being really good players.
Roback back in for DME. Haven't seen a ton of her tonight in her second game with DME. Gets the ball here in the corner, and she double dribbled for the turnover. 3:34 to play. DME leading 62-39 against Oak Ridge. Pioneers to this point being held 14 points below their season average. But have been much better offensively in the second half. They have 21 points this half so far compared to 18 in the first. Lawson doing a lot of dribbling. Tried to split a double team and it was stolen away.
A little too much dribbling.
Cantone with the theft. Now turnaround shot from Happer is too strong. Rebound secured by West momentarily, but the Pioneers turn it over. Final 3 minutes. Duckett with it for DME, leading by 23 and a foul call. She was bumped by Lawson out on the perimeter.
Hoping they can find Rollback a look or two here in the last couple minutes. They pretty much have the game sealed. It's always nice to get the players that don't get a lot of playing time today. Hopefully they can get her a look or two.
She scored 12 points in her debut Saturday in what could be, I'm sure, a bit of an awkward situation where you join a team mid-season, get kind of thrown into the fire, and she played well.
She did. She knocked down a bunch of jumpers and played her role extremely, extremely well. And, you know, she's just a little lower in the totem pole now that, that Happer is back and Moore and that they've got the full team back. Nonetheless, she's still a sophomore, a lot of basketball ahead of her. And, you know, she gets to practice against Mary every day. She gets to practice against Cantone and those players. So she's only going to continue to get better. But there's no doubt in my mind she's one of the better shooters on the team. So if she did have to play more minutes tonight, I think she would have done just fine.
Foul called. And I think it'll be Grant heading back to the line. No, looks like Quarterman heading to the free throw line for Oak Ridge. That's now 10 fouls on DME, so 2 free throws for Oak Ridge for the final. 2:26, but too little too late. DME leading by 23. Quarterman sinks the first. She scored in double figures in 3 of the first 4 games this year, but has done so just once in the most recent 12 games. So she hits both free throws here. So the scoring has slowed for Quarterman. Gets her team within 21, 2:20 to play. Duckett with a pass that got tipped to Happer. Roback gets fouled from behind as reaching in was Duffy, and that'll lead to a 1-and-1 for the sophomore. .56 sophomore from nearby DeLand, Florida, made both free throws in her debut with DME on Saturday in front of the family. That was a big win for DME. In fact, their largest of the year. They beat the Rocks 79-26, beating them by 53 points. They've also won games this year by 44, by 47, leading by 21 here tonight as a foul is called for Grant. And more free throws for the 6'2 junior.
A frustrating foul there for Coach Panaggio. He doesn't want to slow this game down anymore. He wants the clock to run so they can go home with a win. But, you know, like you said, fouls are going to continue to put this Oak Ridge team on the line. And you want to just play solid defense, don't get over-aggressive, and execute offensively. It's easy to end games on a bad note when you're up this much. You know, you start getting careless, you start fouling, you start turning the ball over, and all of a sudden, as a coach and as a team, you know, you end up getting the win, but for some reason you've got that sour taste in your mouth because of the way you ended. So you want to finish on a good note by taking care of the basketball, do what you've been doing, and some of the best things that can happen in the end is you get rolled back here a shot or two. These girls will get excited. And it'll be a great day for them.
Cantone couldn't bank it in. Final 100 seconds. Oak Ridge down by 20 with the basketball. Duffy all the way to the hoop, couldn't finish. But the putback there goes for Grant.
By Grant, just took it out of the hands of Duckett there. She's got a great size body for a high school player. When you look at Rayner, she just looks so frail next to Grant.
And Grant nearing her third straight 20-point game as a timeout was taken by DME. 30-second timeout with just 1:23 to go. DME leading 62-44. And as he said, just trying to close out this game on a positive so that they can leave here feeling good about what will be this eventual win. Leading by 18 here late in the fourth, and assuming they hold on as they should, DME will improve to 4-0 at home, 9-4 on the year, while Oak Ridge falls to 9-7 on the year, unable to finish off any sort of comeback tonight. For DME, we talked earlier about that press and the issues that it did cause for DME. Did you feel like they were able to adjust and handle that any better as the second half moved along?
I think they did. I think they took care of the ball against the press, and eventually, slowly, it wasn't like the press allowed the lead to get bigger, but slowly with some free throws and some made shots, the lead almost got too big, and Oak Ridge was, just kind of forced to play back, and it was a little bit out of their hands at one point.
Minute 15 to go. DME up by 18 with the basketball. McMillan back in the game. Can't make the three-pointer. Tracks down her own rebound, but saved it to the opposition. Lawson with a minute to go. Pulls up at the top of the key. Directing traffic. Bouncing to the high post. She was attempting to go to West. Got knocked out of bounds, and the Pioneers will inbound.
Lawson, another guard. Another sophomore guard on the floor. Young player. And I think she has a chance to be pretty good as well. Good ball handler. She's a little undersized, but in the women's game, I don't think it makes as big of a difference as it does in the men's game to be undersized, because she does have really good foot speed.
Duffy throwing to nobody. McMillan with the steal off the inbounds.
Tried to throw it off of Duckett's back, but Duckett stepped out to the wing to cover a player and ended up just throwing it right to McMillan's hands.
Oops. Foul on the take was Quarterman. 37 seconds left, and the Pioneers dragging this one out as long as they can, trailing by 18. They'll be in action tomorrow night over in Weston, taking on Cypress Bay, and then very next day they'll be in Allendale, Florida, to take on Allendale High School. So 3 games in 3 days for Oak Ridge, beginning here tonight with.
And all on the road.
Yeah.
Wow.
They'll get to see everything that Florida has to offer over this weekend.
Yeah, no kidding. That's tougher than an NBA road trip.
Yeah. 7 games in 11 days. A stretch the Pioneers are in the middle of.
Great job by Cantone finding rollback there. Purposely did that.
Duffy. No good. Rainey missing a pair, getting the third shot to fall. Final 10 seconds. DME can dribble it out. They will. And they'll be on their way. Well, they won't be able to dribble it out. Duffy coming up to slap the hands of Cantone, and she'll get some free throws with just 6 seconds left.
Cantone's face spoke volumes there. She did not. She's thinking, why are you fouling me? This game is over. But she'll step up and hopefully knock these down.
Yeah, she'll take the chance for the points with 6 seconds left. And gets the front end of the 1-1 to drop in.
Lucky there. Little lucky bounce.
DME has allowed just 74 points over the last 2 games, an average of 37 per game. In a pair of big wins as Cantone hits both free throws. Final 6 seconds. Here's Lawson. 3 seconds. Has her pass deflected. Stolen by Roback as the horn sounds. And DME gets its second home win of the week, beating Oak Ridge tonight 64-48 to improve to 9-4, while the Pioneers fall to 9-7. DME stays perfect here at home, now 4-0 on the year. Mary McMillan with a huge night for the home team, and they pull off a 16-point game win in a game in which they never led by less than 10 points for the final 3 quarters.
Yeah, great week for our girls team here to get 2 home wins in front of your crowd, in front of the parents who are truly some of the best. For our girls team, have great support from the parents and great momentum going into the MLK tournament in Alabama for the girls team, which there'll be some challenging teams up there for them. So it's always good to win at home. It's always good to put a couple wins together and have some momentum going into a big tournament.
Yeah, they'll head off to Montgomery, Alabama for the holiday weekend. They'll take on Hapville Charter out of Atlanta on Saturday, and then Carolina Prep out of Chapel Hill, North Carolina, on Sunday afternoon, trying to keep the winning streak alive. DME wins it tonight, beating Oak Ridge by 16 to improve to 9-4. For our wonderful crew, as always, my broadcast partner, Dan Mondragon, I'm Luke Morrow, thanking you for joining us here on the live stream tonight, and I encourage you to check back for the next live stream here from the DME Sports Academy in Daytona Beach.